Pagugimang, Mr. Speaker, Yare Yamalong. Mr. Speaker, I just say that I say hello, everyone, honorable members in this House. Mr. Speaker, at this time, I would like to congratulate you as the Speaker of the National Assembly and also the first Amerindian Deputy Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you for allowing me, and with your permission, I want to express my gratitude to the Almighty for allowing me or giving me the opportunity to stand here in this honorable House. Also, I want to thank the People's Progressive Party, CIVEC, for giving me the opportunity also to sit and stand here as an Amerindian and the only Arikunda nation in this country. Mr. Speaker, as I stand here today, I want to wish my brothers and sisters and all of you here as we celebrate, to join with me as we celebrate Amerindian Heritage Month 2020 under the theme Fostering Traditional Practices for Safe Environment during this COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Speaker, as I speak today and as I present my contribution, I will use simple English grammatical structure so that everyone here can understand as to avoid going to Caribbean Court of Justice for interpretation. Mr. Speaker, before I go further, I would like to thank Minister of Public Works, Honorable Wang Ejel, and the staff of Ministry of Finance who prepare and present our plan for prosperity for all Guyanese. Mr. Speaker, today marks a very important day as we present our budget 2020 for all Guyanese under the theme Protecting Our People in a COVID-19 Environment, Strengthening Democracy and the Rule of Law, Incentivizing Growth and Job Creation, and Enhancing Welfare. The people of this country have been tried and tested, but not defeated. This budget has been prepared in a record time. Mr. Speaker, I listened to honorable members on the other side, claiming that they did a lot for the people. I want to ask a question, why is it that you get voted out with more than 15,000 votes? Why is it that you are voted out from the government? Just answer the question by yourself, why is it that you were voted out? Mr. Speaker, as I listen to the honorable members on the other side telling us, or the country, that we want to bring back former President David Granger's legacy, it left me to wonder. And I want to ask the honorable members on the other side, which legacy are you talking about? APNU AFC coalition undermined the Constitution of Guyana since 21st December 2018. Yes, I'm sure of that. Our national pledge was disrespected that says to be obedient to the laws of Guyana. In 1992, with the leadership of late Dr. Chedi Jagan, the People's Progressive Party, CIVEC, come with the slogan, time for change, time to rebel. In 1997, the PPP came again with the slogan, one good term deserves another. Mr. Speaker, today I want to say we are here again, People's Progressive Party, as a change, and we will rebuild this country. So, Mr. Speaker, as I said earlier, one good term deserves another, but on March 2, 2020, the Guyanese people spoke for themselves by putting one-term APNU-AFC on the opposition bench. This alone can speak for itself why you were voted out. Mr. Speaker, our first people in Guyana were told of many promises in 2015 and good life for all Guyanese, and so candy dreams, but with no delivery. More jobs, improved health care, more access to education, improved communication, hinterland electrification, the list go on and on, but instead raise their salary. Is that within 6 months after assuming into government? Was that a good life for all Guyanese? Mr. Speaker, during 2015 campaign trail, the APNU-AFC went about criticizing the then my government, People's Progressive Party Civic, for giving Amerindians handouts to the Amerindian villages. Until now, those handouts called by APNU-AFC still exist unchanged. Mr. Speaker, as I contribute today, please allow me to emphasize some, not all, that affects the livelihood of the Amerindian people. Education. Education being the critical aspect of every child's life and is essential for the future. The then People's Progressive Party Civic, prior 2015, introduced the program that entire Guyanese children benefited from. Because We Care program, cash grant, where 10,000 cash grant was given to each school child, which assisted them in their school needs. Unfortunately, the APNU-AFC dismantled the program and replaced it with the 5 Bs: bus, boat, bicycle, and books. Mr. Speaker, today, I want to inform the Honorable House that the 5 Bs was not meant for all Guyanese. The Amerindian people did not benefit from 5 Bs. So do not preach 5 Bs. Amerindian did not benefit from that. And Region 7 particularly. It is true. The books that were sent, maybe size 40, maybe for adults, not for school children. The Amerindian, Mr. Speaker, the school children still walk to school today, walking miles, paddling in boat, risking their lives just to meet in time for school. Mr. Speaker, if you don't go out of your office and reach out to people, you will not know what's going on out there. During the past 5 years, schools encounter a lot of difficulties, shortages of school supplies, exercise books. Mr. Speaker, I can recall school children were given half-cut exercise books because there were shortages. Prior 2015, school supplies, exercise books were up to date in every school. After 2015, we start receiving half-cut exercise books to each child. Mr. Speaker, I am sorry I don't have the exercise book to show you, to show the House. But I say, Mr. Speaker, that's a reality. Today, in the latter part of the year, as we present 2020 budget, the People's Progressive Party government has once again placed education on the agenda, top on the agenda. Mr. Speaker, the education will be delivered online and learning channels, and the Amerindians will not be left behind. So, honorable members, on the other side mentioned about schools being connected to internet. As I speak today, the internet that Desiree Fox Desiree Cedars Fox Secondary School in Ramdam is a non-functional internet. Since October 2019, no one showed concern about that school. The internet is unfunctional or non-functional. Mr. Speaker, in 2020 budget, the school children will receive their 15,000 child cash grant to boost their education. And the People's Progressive Party Civic for the next 5 years will deliver quality education for all Guyanese. Healthcare services. Over the last 5 years, healthcare has been a downfall where there were inadequate medical supplies in all health facilities across the country, especially in Amerindian villages. Mr. Speaker, I can recall with my late father, I went to Georgetown Public Hospital before he died in January. I stood up in the line just to receive simple drugs, paracetamol. I waited almost for 1 hour just to be told that there is no paracetamol in the pharmacy. I had to went to other pharmacy to buy simple thing like paracetamol. Again, Mr. Speaker, a lot was promised in 2015 by APNU AFC. The campaign told us that Kamrang Hospital was a white elephant and it will be transformed into a state-of-the-art hospital. Mr. Speaker, up to now, or today, Kamrang Hospital still remain a white elephant. No x-ray, no proper lab, no ultrasound. The patients still being referred to Georgetown Hospital for further treatment. There were times the health facilities in Upper Mazaruni run out of medical supplies and depend on Kamrang Hospital, but could not do enough for the villages due to shortages. Again, Mr. Speaker, as I speak today, some health facilities called me and informed me that they are short of drugs. They are still awaiting supplies that they had requested even before the People's Progressive Party took office. Today, I am happy to inform the Honorable House that the PPPC government has allocated in 2020 budget $14.3 billion for the procurement of drugs and medical supplies in order for the health facilities to be well equipped and adequately supplied. Mr. Speaker, on March 11, Guyana incidentally recorded first case of COVID-19, which was imported into the country, and the APNU AFC government then paid no serious attention to the pandemic. That causes the Guyanese population, especially Amerindian people, to be at risk because there was no immediate or proper response. Instead, they imposed certain measures that were not respected by the supporters of APNU AFC. And there were inadequate supply of PPE, drugs, medical supplies to provide the quality healthcare by the frontline workers, especially in Amerindian villages. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased today that the People's Progressive Party civic government has allocated budget to improve healthcare delivery in all health facilities and for frontline workers. Also, in the PPP civic budget 2020, has allocated for $475 million for the Amerindians to benefit from COVID-19 relief, 25,000 per household, and Guyanese as a whole. Mr. Speaker, youths of today are leaders of tomorrow. As such, much emphasis has to be done on youth, so we can have our youth or young people involved in policy making. Between 2015 and 2020, youth were non-existent and lacked employment when Community Support Officer CSO program was disbanded by the APNU AFC. In 2015 budget debate, the issue of termination was raised, and Vice President, then Honorable Minister Alikov, admitted we had terminated them, and he made a statement in the House in August that CSO program would be replaced by Hayes. PPP civic government did not terminate the CSO. The APNU government did within 2 months of coming into office. Mr.
Honorable
Speaker,
Member, you will need time to conclude your presentation.
Mr. Speaker, can I ask that my colleague be given 5 minutes more to conclude?
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, you may continue to conclusion.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, as I speak today, the budget we have in 2020, the People's Progressive Party will reintroduce the CSO. And during that CSO, there are some youths attached to some sectors, education, health, and business. And I'm proud to inform the House today, those youths who were involved in the CSO program are now qualified lab technicians, professional nurse, and teachers. So that was the beginning of the CSO, and they did what they did in other fields. Mr. Speaker, Armenian development is vital in our society today, but the village councils were not given some work by the region, most village councils. Instead, contracts were more than one contracts were given to families and cronies, as my honorable member said yesterday. More than one contract were given to families and denied the village councils to do the work. Simple work like just building a bridge. The councils have the capability to do such work. So, Mr. Speaker, we as Amerindians are the first set of people. But we were called by then minister, called the Amerindians greedy in 2017. And no one in the APNU AFC side stood up and defend. Instead, the then Minister of Amerindian Affairs said that the remark is a small matter. And up to now, there is no apology. And further, we do not, and it was further stated that the Amerindians cannot benefit from oil and gas. Mr. Speaker, the budget is the people's budget. It's for all Guyanese. 800 million is allocated for Amerindian Development Fund. ICT hubs will be introduced. In 2015, ICT hub were in place. But since APNU take over in 2015, that was halted. One laptop per family was dismantled. It was replaced with one laptop per teacher. Teachers got their laptop named Great Wall, which I never heard. That was never functioned. Mr. Speaker, I listened to one of the members on the other side speaking about solar in Bartica. But I want to tell the Honorable House that Bartica is not Region 7 alone. It has Lower, Middle, Upper Mazaruni, and Cuyuni. So, Mr. Speaker, electrification with dismantled. Again, the solar system was described by the APNU AFC as handouts and toys. We were promised that we will be given the bigger one that can run electricity 24/7, to have the TV, fan, and refrigerator. Up to now, nothing has been done. They promised, but never fulfilled. So, Mr. Speaker, the electrification program will be reintroduced. As I speak today, the Amerindian people will not be left behind. All the Amerindian people will be benefiting from this 2020 budget. So as I close here, there are many areas that I need to address, but because of the time allocated to me, Mr. Speaker, I support and endorse 2020 budget. And I'm kindly asking the honorable members on the other side to support this 2020 budget. Because at the end of the day, you, your family, and your children will benefit from this 2020 budget, regardless of who you are. So join me as we are one people, one nation, one destiny. Thank you.